Hello, thanks for tuning in. It's Stuart here, Classical Record Collector, and I'm going to be doing in this video, I'm going to be talking about, as a very serious vinyl collector, somebody who has in recent years almost avoided buying CDs, what CDs have I bought and why? Under what circumstances would I buy CDs? Now, I watched a video that turned up in my feed today entitled the following: Why I'm buying CDs instead of vinyl and why you should too. Now, naturally, I clicked on this channel and watched the video and it's a channel called Vinyl Record Mission, so I was surprised about the title, very surprised. But when I started listening to what he was actually saying, really the title didn't quite go with the content. So I can imagine a lot of CD fans, those who actively hate on vinyl, clicking on that video looking for more confirmation that people are drifting away from vinyl, that vinyl has been shown up to be the sort of emperor's new clothes for what it is, and that CD will triumph after all. Well, what this user actually said is that there are circumstances in which he will be buying CDs instead of vinyl. He didn't say that he would stop listening to vinyl. In fact, when I read some of the comments, and it was mainly people saying, who obviously hadn't listened to the whole of the video, yep, I moved away from vinyl as well, I've never looked back since listening to CDs, etc, etc, CDs way better, blah blah blah. But there were one or two people who said, no, vinyl is my first choice, I don't listen to anything else, or very rarely do I listen to a CD. And then as a reply, this Vinyl Record Mission was saying, yep, I've got 5,000 LPs, it's still my first love, that's my passion, and I only buy CD when I've got to. I thought, well, that's bizarre, because the title is completely, gives a different impression. And I actually left a comment on his channel saying, yeah, it looks like the content is going to be different, judging by the title, that it's going to be very much vinyl's on its way out, you've been hoodwinked, go for CDs in future, that is the physical format of the future. Yeah, so a lot of people were actually leaving comments saying, no, vinyl is what I primarily listen to and will continue to do so. And he was agreeing with them, saying, yeah, me too, and I only listen to vinyl, I only buy CDs under certain circumstances. So yeah, now before I talk about that issue and about when I buy CDs as a vinyl junkie, if you will, I've had some records through the post. I got three records, all violin records, and unfortunately the one I really wanted was faulty. Now, to be fair, he did say there were some marks on the record, but he described them as being fairly light, and I didn't realise he hadn't play tested them. He put down the condition as EX, but sadly, one of those marks actually sounded about 15 clicks on the first track, and I've since returned it, but I kept the other two. Disappointing, because I really wanted that one. So yeah, I've got this Anton Rubinstein Violin Concerto in G major. So yeah, that's on the Marco Polo label. I've never had Marco Polo label. I paid about a £5 for that. That's in superb condition, and so is this English Music for Violin and Piano. Really pleased with that. Got that for about a £5 as well. So what can I say? I mean, look, when you can buy records like this for £5, I mean, who needs new records? Not really necessary, are they? Somebody left a comment saying that one of the problems with new records is the craze for loudness, and that you know, they tend to be a bit, the volume tends to be a bit high on certain records, because the trend seems to be towards louder hi-fi systems. I don't listen to my system on a very high volume level. It's actually quite modest. To be honest with you, when you're listening to great music, you know, you don't need to pump up the volume. You really don't. And if something like Mahler, and you've got a good system, you've got all the dynamic range there, you don't really need to pump up the volume, because I mean everything is just so good to listen to. I can understand with some pop music that might get a bit, or you know, some rock that might demand that you have a really deep thundering bass. Yeah, I can see that point, but I don't see any argument for pumping up the volume on classical music. Okay, yeah, so let's see. So okay, I mean this CD, for example, which I bought a number of years ago, so it's Mozart, it's, oops, what happened there? Now that's what I hate about CDs, these, you know what I mean, don't you, these jewel cases. How many times have you opened, you know, a case like that in a charity shop or something, and the CDs just come, you know, the whole thing is just falling to pieces. That is just, that's so annoying, and one of the things that I really hate about CDs. But anyway, yeah, the reason I bought this is that this is one of the best cycles of Mozart symphonies, full stop, period. Charles Mackerras with the Prague Chamber Orchestra, and the recordings are excellent and the performances are also excellent. I bought this, I think, from an eBay seller. I bought the whole lot, I think, for about £30, all the symphonies. So yeah, I mean, that's not available on vinyl. So yeah, this vinyl record mission, he did say, yeah, he has to buy the CD if it's not available on vinyl. So what else can you do if you want to hear the performance? Yeah, so that's one occasion when I had to do it. Okay, so I've got Blondie Plastic Letters here. The reason I bought that on CD is I want to listen to my car. There are no car vinyl systems as far as I know, and I wouldn't really want to take my records out to the car anyway. So yeah, that's why I bought Plastic Letters on CD. Now this one here, it's Mendelssohn Violin Sonatas, and the reason I bought that again on CD is that the soloist Yossi Zavoni, he did this in the 90s, I think. Let's have a look. Yeah, 1993, and there's no vinyl record of this. If there was, you know, I mean, I'd be delighted to know, but I don't think there is. It's Meridian. I really don't think there's a vinyl equivalent of that, so I had to buy that on CD. And the other thing is, I think, as he pointed out, this vinyl record mission channel owner, that if you see something that's a real bargain on CD, it's difficult to pass up. Now, as you know, I'm a Mozart fan. Mozart Complete Edition. I didn't buy this. It was bought for me as a present by my ex-wife. To be fair, it's the best present she ever bought me in my life, and I was really kind of touched. At first, when she plonked it in front of me on my birthday 10 years ago, I looked at it and I thought, you know, what is this? And then I looked carefully and I realised it's all the works of Mozart on CD. I was really quite excited to get the whole lot. 180 CDs, brilliant classics, they call it, this publishing house, brilliant classics. And I think that at the time that was about £120. She bought it on Amazon for me. And yeah, so I was really pleased with that. It's got every single, I mean virtually every single work that's been credited to Mozart is on here, and it's all organised. It's an amazing set to dip into. Now, I saw this recently in a charity shop, except I saw a version that was, it wasn't in a box, it was in something else. It was like a sort of, it was a much thinner sort of thing, but it was the same set, and it was for sale in this charity shop for about £25. And when I saw it, my eyes nearly popped out. But what, the complete works of Mozart for £25? And I looked carefully, and it said, and it gave a list of all the CDs that were missing. Yeah. Well, actually, to be honest with you, I need to go through my car and I need to get this set organised. So yeah, so that's another situation that, for example, if I didn't have this set, and if I'd seen that brilliant classic set in a charity shop for say 30 quid, the whole lot, you'd be very tempted to buy it, even though it's CD. And even though your primary listening format is vinyl, the other thing about that Brilliant Classics set is most of them are DVDs and have never been released on vinyl. So, you know, I'm getting recordings which don't appear on vinyl, so it kind of makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense to sort of buy it. I haven't listened to the whole set, by the way, nowhere near. Right, so I think that's about it really. So yeah, so if it's not available on vinyl, definitely. If it's a bargain, yeah. But I mean, apart from that, I don't really see myself buying a CD, or unless it's got some kind of special interest value to it. So yeah. Okay, so I don't think there's anything more to say on that subject. I'd be interested to know, you know, you guys out there that listen to vinyl, you know, I guess your reasons would probably be the same, unless you're sort of 50-50 and you like CD as much as you like vinyl, in which case, you know, it's a different ball game. But when your primary listening source, and when you believe, or at least you get more listening pleasure from listening to vinyl, then you would probably be prepared to pay a premium price and be prepared to pay more than the actual CDs cost in order to listen to your preferred format. Yeah, just one last thing. I was in a charity, not in a charity, I was in an antique shop last week, and somebody was selling, what was it? It was a 1971 David Bowie cassette. It was a cassette, David Bowie. It was I can't remember the piece of the album, but he was selling that for about £4.50. And I had a chat with him about it, and he said, yeah, he said he does think somebody will buy that for £4.50. Well, maybe. Okay, thanks a lot for watching. Bye for now.